Hey everybody, you are tuned in to Hanging with H2Z, the show that is a place for people who love all kinds of music. We really hope you enjoy your time with us today. Make sure you hit subscribe if you already haven't, and hit that notification bell to be kept up to date. We would love to hear from you over on our social media platforms, so just search H2Z and you'll find us. Lastly, could you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or Google Podcasts, or wherever you're going to be tuning in from? Those reviews help other people to find us, so we appreciate the reviews and the support. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Hello.
Hey man, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
You look tired. It's been a long day of interviews, hasn't it?
Uh, uh, it's been a few. You're the fifth one. You're the last one.
Last one. Let's do this shit.
Save the best for last.
Of
Let's go.
course. All right,
But
man.
I'm not tired because of that though. Just it's our first 4 days in, and it's been a minute since we done shows like this, long shows. So I'm definitely realizing, as much as I want to be 21, I'm definitely realizing I'm 56. My bones and my muscles. So, but it's all good. We'll be ready for Australia. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters, man. So today, Nuno, you're joining us. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Firstly, congratulations on Six. As a fan, I think it's actually Extreme's most well-rounded album that they've produced, and it's
Wow.
easily my favorite. So congrats on that.
Wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Um, I'm that guy that sort of gets into bands when they do their, I call them their weird albums. So for me, that was for you guys, was like Three Sides and Punchline. So, you know, I'm always late to the train when it comes to bands. But when I hear Six, I hear all of the past albums matured into one. Would that be a pretty good assessment?
Well, you're the only one who said that, so I'll take that. I agree with you. It's like you don't look, that wasn't the obviously that we never have a set plan of attack, but I think you're right. I think I agree with you because when I step back from it now that it's done and it's out there and it's no longer ours anymore, I tend to go through it and I'm like, wow, that Banshee could have been around the first album, or X Out could have been on Three Sides, on the third side. Like it's the Am I Ever Gonna Change of the album. And then you
Yep.
got you know, you got your rainbow that is kind of like the wholehearted of the, it's like there's all these sort of connections there. So I think you're right. I think it's a soup that has all the ingredients in from everything we've ever done in one place.
Exactly right, man. And you're here next month. So I've seen the set list from the last couple of shows you've done, and everything is getting a show. From every album, like Hip Today was
Yeah.
played, which was just mind blowing. I was stoked to see that. So, how hard is it this far into such a varied career, but a successful one, to get that set list?
Yeah, the set list is a bit of a nightmare because you never please everyone,
Yep.
and it starts with the band as well. We need to please ourselves, but we really we try to not be selfish about it. We try to really think about, like, what do people want to hear, but we also try to say, look, there are fans of each album. Can we try to do two, three, four songs from each album? And that was hard enough before.
Yeah.
Now with a new album, and we're getting people telling us, like, we're already doing 5 songs off the new album, and people say, yeah, but you didn't do Losers, you didn't do Mask, you didn't do Thick of the Blood. I'm like, I know, I want to do all of those. If there's anything about a band and the new album, all they want to do is the new album, because
Yeah.
they've been doing the other stuff for years. But if you don't do some of the older stuff, people are going to be really upset with you.
Yeah. I look, for me, I saw Hip Today. I'd love to hear Warheads live, but
Hey, I'll tell you what if you come to the show, I'll play Warheads for you. Deal.
I'll be there.
All right. Because
Um,
I told everybody, keep Warheads on ice, because we gotta bring that in.
yeah. The only other song I'd love to hear you guys do, and it's really bizarre for me to say this, but I know how much you love Van Halen, and Gary was in Van Halen. I would love to hear Extreme do Without You off VH3.
That's, you know what? You're the second person in this little interview block that said that to me.
Yeah, I just think it's their
Interesting.
most extreme like song. It's
Right.
got Gary all over it,
Yeah.
and you are the the keeper of the Eddie Flame as far as I'm concerned for Shredders. So I think it's a match made in heaven.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that. I haven't listened to it in a while. I have to check that out.
Yeah, the harmonies are extreme all over.
Oh wow. Well, it's ironic because all the harmonies we do were from Van Halen and Queen.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Now, how's your knee holding up?
Um, it's there. It's
Yep.
I was thinking of changing my name from Nuno to Noonie.
Yep.
It's because I feel like I could use a new knee. But look, my ligament is completely torn. It's gone. But this brace, I did some surgery to take the pain away, and I think it did the trick. And now I just wear a brace, and so far so good on 4 shows. I'm starting to, at first when I was performing with it, it really was distracting because I could feel that I had a brace and I couldn't be normal. But now I'm starting to understand. It's becoming one with me.
Yep.
It's me plus the brace, and now I'm starting to relax a bit and not. Sometimes I'd be in a solo and the bottom of the guitar hits the top of the brace. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Now, you've got a really long-standing relationship with Washburn. What is it about Washburn that works for you as a player compared to some other guitar companies?
Look, I think guitars are very personal. People are like, oh, you're a Les Paul guy or you're a Strat guy, or you're this or that. I think it's whatever works for you. And as a younger kid, I had an opportunity. I built my own guitar out of parts that I could afford, and then nobody cared about me in the first album or before the first album. But this one company, Washburn, came to me and said, "Listen, somebody in the clubs that they've been talking a lot about you, and we want to do something with you." I didn't know what the hell an endorsement was. I had my own guitar, and they said, "Look, you can play one of our guitars." I said, "I don't want to play one of your guitars. I want you to make mine." And that started the relationship, meaning I got to make my own guitar. I got to, I didn't have to play a Les Paul or a Strat per se.
Yep.
I got to play whatever I wanted, and the dimensions of it, and the neck down to every little detail. And I think it's a part of me. It's a part of it. It's just another limb at this point. You know.
Do you play the Telly version very much?
Yeah, the Nelly. I played it on the album on 3 songs. I brought it with me. I want to start bringing it out uh, for a few songs, the ones that I did play. But it was kind of hectic the first 3 or 4 shows because we're playing so many new songs, and I just want to break them in, and I don't want to be distracted. But now that we're kind of settling into the set list, I'm going to start bringing it out.
Great. Yeah. Look, the one thing I love about your guitars is they're just they look bone stock from a viewer's perspective. There's no fancy paint. It's all about the sound. You're not worried about how it looks, which is ultimately what a guitar is meant to do. So is that
Yeah, yeah.
always a conscious decision to not have fancy aesthetics and just have it a bone stock guitar?
Well, I mean, look, I think that wasn't definitely not the plan, but I think because when I was younger and, I didn't, our family didn't have a lot of money, I wouldn't use the word poor because poor means that probably when you're starving. So it's disrespectful to say we were poor, but we were definitely lower middle class, right? We are on welfare. We had a lot of kids and couldn't afford stuff like that. So when I bought these parts that I could afford, that they were to build a guitar from scratch, meaning no paint, no finish, no nothing. It always stuck with me and what it represented for me, and also more importantly, tonally, it also sounded specific with no finish and no paint. It had this really weird, talk about Eddie's brown sound. I mean, this had the most like spongy, like, warm, fluid sound. And then when I tried to do paint on it, I hated it. I heard the difference, So I just wanted to keep it. It was what I liked, but it also represented, I was told they would never sell if I don't put paint on it, and they did. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of it has to do when a band has success or anything. Of course, guitars will sell, but it represents a lot of those different things for me.
Cool. Now, not to scare you, but you're approaching 40 years as a band. Um, yeah. So if you were to jump in the DeLorean and go back, what's the one piece of advice 2023 Nuno would give 1985 Nuno?
I think I would never want to mess with fate because I'm very grateful and thankful for what we've done and what I've done. But I think, I think one of the biggest regrets or mistakes I made being not mature enough to understand what I was feeling. And I kind of blame our managers a little bit, and I blame the accountants. I blame the people who were making money off of us that didn't want to see us take breaks and stop. We were just going and going and going, tour album, is when I had left the band, which ended up Gary going to Van Halen and me doing some solo stuff. I don't regret those two things. I thought it was great that he did that and I did that. But I wasn't mature enough, or my head wasn't at the place where I could just take a break. I thought it was either all in or nothing. And things got a little bit hairy with the band. Instead of just going, you know what, we just need to take a break from each other. So those 10 years that we did nothing kind of disappoint me. I love all the things that I did musically during those times and different albums, stuff like that. I mean, but as far as Extreme, the mothership of it all, I don't think that was handled very well by me. And that, there could have been, we should be, 13 albums in at this point,
Yeah.
But, life is what it is, and it's whatever's meant to be is meant to be because it happened.
Yeah. Maybe just add "Don't play basketball on a cruise ship" as well.
I'll add that one there for sure. Although,
Yeah.
although I did do that, I said to myself, "Don't play." Told Gary we're not playing like we did the day before, and we all agreed. And then next thing you know, I blame Gary because he's in full shorts and sneakers and basketballs and ready to go in at my door saying, "Let's go, let's just play for a little bit." And I'm like, just long enough for me to blow up my knee. So I
Well,
blame him.
you can, and it might be it's reverse karma because I don't know if you know this, but he almost really badly injured himself when you were here last time.
Yes.
At the show in Brisbane, I was shooting away with my camera and he missed the drum riser.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's already had a few stumbles in the first four shows. We always try to get him to hey, sing the songs,
Yep.
let your body follow, don't go the other way. But that's Gary from day one, man.
Yeah.
Day one.
Now, you're well known as a guitar player, but a lot of people don't know that you've got your own production company and you had a big hand in the videos that are out now. So tell us more about Atlantis.
Yeah, Atlantis Entertainment, kind of a young company, but about 4 or 5 years in, and film, television, music, got a label. You have like 3 young artists that we're launching. Also developing a TV series and film, and hoping to do something with one of your boys down there, Sam Corlett.
Yep.
We're kind of talking about a project together that we're doing that has a music element to it as well. And we sold our first show to Amazon during the pandemic. But we're building that, and also with my partner Renee, we also listen. I've always been a bit of a visionary with videos and things like that. I love concepts and all the videos that you see with Extreme. As a matter of fact, I'm in the midst of, right before I spoke to you, I'm editing a video for a Mask. We shot the Mask video,
Great.
but directing it and editing it and coloring it and all that stuff. So we produce videos as well. So there's a lot. It's a lot. We got like 12 projects going on. It's insanity.
Well, and the video budgets from the 80s are no longer around. Well, also, which is great because they claw those back from you anyway.
Yeah,
But do you think it's better that we don't have such massive budgets these days for certain things, and we're relying more on our skill than just throwing money at things?
I mean, I think there's a balance somewhere. I'm of the mind where it's like, if you sign with a major, or a decent sized record company, the biggest fear of you could be as talented as anybody. You could be the next Led Zeppelin, but if the tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, they never know that you're the next Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
So sometimes it takes money to do that, whether it's on billboards, whether it's Spotify, whether it's advertising, whether it's all that stuff. So I'm still of the mind that, yes, did they definitely overspend in the 80s and 90s? Hell yeah. But yeah, we're making these. you know, these videos that you see that we did for Rainbow that look like $100,000 videos in the valley and like crazy stuff, we're making those for a fraction of the cost because they still should cost 70 to 80,000, $100,000, but we're doing our best to take what we have and make it, you know, location, location, location.
Yep. Well, hey, was there ever a song in Extreme's career where you finished recording it and you're like, this one's going to resonate the most with people, and it didn't?
Huh. I don't know. I mean, I think we might have even thought that because of what was happening with the new stuff that when we put Rainbow out, that maybe because of Wholehearted and because of all that stuff, that maybe it was going to resonate more than the others, and it didn't. I
Mm.
mean, it might have like individually with certain people, but not across the board because I think a lot of people right now are digging the heavier stuff and digging the heavily guitar solo stuff, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I love the song because it doesn't sound like Wholehearted, but my favorite song is the one that you're currently editing the video for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's your favorite.
Yeah, Mask for sure.
Wow, because I think I've always been alone in the band and having that as my favorite. It's actually probably my favorite, if not my second favorite. But yeah, that's why I was pushing it to do this video to do it and get it out because it's just different for us. But I think it'd be a great song live and it's a bit of an anthem. I think it's really cool as well.
Yeah, for me, you always talk about Queen and Van Halen being big influences. For me, I get Queen, Van Halen, Extreme, Marilyn Manson in that song.
Absolutely, and that's, you know what, somebody said it to me. You know, like I said, we are what we eat. We always influenced by everything. You know, I never write a song to try to sound like another song, but you always know that pieces are going to come out and influences are going to come out. But in Mask as well, of course, the sort of beautiful peopleish sort of vibe
Yep.
there. But somebody said to me, like, "Are you into Depeche Mode?" And I said, "Yes." Like I said, one of my favorite songs is "Personal Jesus," and I went, "Oh my
Oh,
God."
wow.
Down, down, down,
Yep.
down. Yes, yeah.
Now, I've got to ask you about your partner in crime, Gary Cherone. Like,
Mm.
what fucking vitamins is that dude taking, man? Like, because he is singing better than ever. Like, he's in the best voice of his career, in my opinion.
Um, I don't know, but I do. You know, he stays fit, he stays in shape. But I have to tell you, as a producer on this album, I pushed him kind of hard. You know, I think I've even for myself as a producer, you know, on this album, for me, which nobody really talks much about, and I get it because I'm in the band anyways. I'm the guitar player and I write songs, so nobody's going to really talk about the production much. But as a producer, as an emotional producer, you know, to get performances out of bandmates and stuff, this is the most that I pushed Gary to get on this album, to push him to get to the space that you just talked about, which is, yeah, he can go up on the mic and sing the song in one take, but emotionally push him. And, you
Yep.
know, whether it's, you know, the bridges in Rainbow and things that he's really like, you know, and all the different textures he's doing in the low part of that he hasn't done much of, where he's singing lower and singing higher. So he's really stretched out a lot.
Yeah, and you're right about that low voice, especially in songs like Mask and some others. Like, he goes down quite a bit, and there's a certain emotion that he's brought out in there that you
Well,
wouldn't have
I
expected.
don't know if you know this, but that's me singing on Mask.
Isn't he in harmony with you?
Well, I'm singing all the verses.
Yeah.
That's me doing my best Jim Morrison
Yep.
Depeche Mode impersonation. But he comes in for the choruses and sings.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That's going to be a fun one to pull off live. Have you tried it yet?
We have not tried it, but I want to start rehearsing it at Soundcheck. I'm hoping that maybe by the time we get to Australia, we can do it there. Maybe.
And you're quite lucky that the vocal ability of all four of you, because I'm sure people don't know that Kevin can sing well.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you're lucky that you can always rely on each other. How much do you guys get together and practice those harmonies?
Never.
That's brilliant.
Never. We write the parts. I write the parts. We're in the studio. We cut them. We show up at rehearsal. You know, we sing a little bit, but you know, we show up just knowing it. You know, it's just we don't really work on them too much.
a whole heap of singers around the world just gave you the middle finger. I just want to let you know that. All right, man. So, like I said, you're going to be in the country. You got 2 dates in Melbourne. So that's the Forum on the 4th and the 10th. Then you go to Perth on the 6th, Adelaide, the 8th, Sydney on the 12th, and wrapping up my adopted hometown in Brisbane on the 13th. So before I let you go, Nuno the salesman has to come out now, do the straight up sales pitch, straight down the barrel. Let Australia know what's going on.
Let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
What we're doing. Well, we're coming to Australia for sure. And whether you like extreme, don't like extreme, like them a little, want to hear one song, want to hear all, what are we doing? 20 songs we're doing, 22 songs, whatever it is. I can guarantee you that there will be a show to be seen and heard at the very least. I mean, if there's one thing that we pride ourselves on, we don't brag about much, but we're always all in live and passionately, emotionally, technically, sorry, and chemistry, everything about it. And we don't punch in the clock with like a lot of our contemporaries do these days. So we love it, man. And I think you're always going to get your money's worth, I promise. And by the way, we got Living Color coming in tow, so that's a great bill. And you're going to get a nice 1-2 punch there.
Awesome, Nuno. I'll see you in a little over a month. I'm looking forward to Brisbane. It's a great venue. You're going to love it there. It's big stage, big sound.
Nice.
We can rattle the roof a bit. And thanks so much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Man, thanks for having me. Great interview. Thank you so much, brother.
Thanks. See you soon.
Cheers, brother. See ya.